Welcome back, everybody. This is Sons of Montezuma Spitballers, where we sit and we talk about all things happening on the diamond around the mesa for SDSU baseball and softball. I'm Sean, and my counterpart with his also very cool glasses, it's John.
Hey guys, how's it going? I mean, my glasses are cool, but they don't got the flip.
I mean, they're just so fun. I don't know. I wear them too much, but they work real good, I wish I had these when I was a kid, but
Right.
I probably would have broke them.
Be a game changer.
Definitely would have broke them. So that's probably why.
Another pair of sunglasses.
Probably why I wasn't allowed to have them. But man, how you been? How's things going?
Pretty good, man. Can't say the same for the Aztecs. I mean, at least the guys. The girls have been killing it and not killing it, and then getting back to it. So, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Also, want to shout out women's basketball. Winning the Mountain West Conference Championship yesterday. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, I know this recording's going to probably come out in a little bit, so yesterday will not have been yesterday. But no, they were sweet. That was awesome. They're back in the tournament for the first time in like a decade.
Wow.
Yeah, well, on the flip coin.
They were the 4 seed going in?
Yeah, four seed, and they beat the 1, and I think Wyoming was the 3.
Yeah, no, I thought they were the
2. They might have been the 2. Yeah, so I mean they played great. It was awesome. Anyway, now we all get to focus on softball and baseball. So
baseball.
That's why we're here. But wanted to shout out the rest of the Sons of Montezuma podcast, Mateo, our boy.
Oh yeah.
And
the new SDFC Spanish podcast. Those guys are over there as well.
Yep, undefeated SDFC too. So I mean,
yeah,
it's everywhere. All your coverage for all the sports, man. Sons of Montezuma's got you, and and we're just fun. Everybody's just fun. So what's our game plan? We're gonna give a little bit of a rundown of how things have been going for baseball. Talk about some of the things that we think we've noticed trends wise, what we've seen. Give a little bit more insight on Sean Cole, because I know last time we kind of shot right over him. So I think we're going to get a little bit deeper in depth on him. And then what else? What are we talking about, John? What do you think?
A couple shout outs for key players that have been showing up these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, for baseball, it was, it hasn't been pretty, but there's still some guys,
there's some diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, they're showing out and playing well, so they deserve some acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. It's the thing about this sport; it's all about failure. So it's
3 out of 10.
Gotta find the positives.
3 out of 10.
Gotta find the positives when you can. So I think we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll talk about where a lot of the focus has been, which would be softball. So I know last time we kind of skimmed through it. We were just kind of trying to give overviews of everything. So this time we'll go back, talk about how the season's been so far for softball a little bit, just like an overview, and then also maybe dive a little bit deeper into the games against those ranked opponents that we've had. See if there's any trends, any breakdowns, anything that we've noticed. And then once again, more about just individual players that have been playing really well,
Mm-hmm. There's a couple on the softball team right now. Callie Decker, CC, DD, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get into it.
I think we're going to get a little bit more technical. So, like we said, baseball and even softball, a lot of failure. You can't be hypercritical. You want to find the positives in this stuff. And, that's why we're here. We'll give you commentary here and there, but at least I know that we don't want to tear anybody down or single anybody out. So,
oh no. Well, they're giving it their all out there on the diamond. They're putting in the work. They're laying it down. So
yeah, I agree. And I mean, you played, I played. We know it's hard when you're already struggling. The last thing you need is somebody to tell you that you're struggling.
Right. And that's not what we're here to do.
No, it's such a mental game. Sometimes all you need is someone to tell you good job once, and then you'll be good.
Right. So let's kick it off with baseball. The boys are struggling a bit on the diamond. with a 4-13 record and an 8-game losing streak. A bit rough out there for the boys in the black and red.
Ouch.
And the one thing that I would bring to the table of where they're struggling is hitting with runners in scoring position. It's rough to see guys get a double or a triple, a shot down the line, and they get left there after three guys pop out or strike out, or it's just hard to watch.
Yeah, we've left about a small village on base this season, from what I can tell. I mean, it's tough because they don't track runners in scoring position anywhere. Like other than
Right.
us seeing it at games, there's no record of it. So it's hard because we can't give like a statistic on it. But it definitely, I agree. It seems like just every game we go to, we finally get somebody in position and just strike out, strike out, strike out, strike out. Because
Yeah,
that's my thing.
left on base is a stat that is not scarce in the Aztec repertoire.
Yeah, not looking good. I mean, we're just not hitting great. I mean, we're
Well,
not
and
walking a lot either. That's the other hard
no,
part.
no, it's you see guys get on base and you're expecting big things when the top of the lineup comes up, and when it doesn't come to fruition, it can be unsettling. And I think as the season goes on, the boys are going to get more comfortable out there. They're going to step in and look like they're going to get out of these jams a lot more.
Yeah, I think they just need a couple of good games, honestly, at the plate. Because as of right now, I mean, statistically speaking, we have 67 walks through 17 games, and we have struck out 147 times in 17 games. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's non-productive outs is going to kill you.
Hmm.
We're going to sound like Moneyball on this podcast because one of the things that
Walks.
we care
Take
about is
walks.
getting on base.
Yeah.
But it
Jason
just
Veritek? What's
even when we get on base. No, you're thinking Kevin Youkilis.
Kevin Youkilis? That's
Kevin
right.
Youkilis and Scott
Sorry, the other
Hatteberg.
guy from the Red Sox.
Yeah, of course that's a Red Sox. Scott Hatteberg from Moneyball. What does he
Yeah.
do? He gets
Gets
on
on
base.
base.
Can't play first, but gets on base. No, but it's mind-boggling to me to look at. So in comparison, walks wise, so the Aztecs have walked 67 times, and we've been hit by a pitch 19. Okay, our pitchers have walked 107 batters and hit 38. That's a pretty wide margin between us and the teams that we're playing.
Right. Well, and
Not
it's
really a
across the
recipe for
board.
success.
Yeah, it's across the board. Even like ERA and strikeouts, like these teams that we're playing, we're giving up six and a half runs a game, and they're only giving up 4, 5. Like,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Our ERA 6.74, opponent's ERA 4.77.
yeah,
I mean, WHIP is another one. So WHIP is walks, hits, innings pitch for everybody out there. So basically, how many walks or hits are you giving per inning that you are pitching? Ours
mhm,
is 1.91. So that means basically we're putting two people on every inning for the most part. That's what
yeah,
that means. And then we're only getting 1.44. So maybe 1.5 people per inning.
yeah,
And then we're not getting hits with runners in scoring position. So
yeah, and
they
that's
get stranded
including
out there.
walks. So it's like
It,
you can get a guy to first, yeah, but if you're not moving him over, you're not scoring runs.
yeah.
That's the only thing that I think about when we think about Moneyball is it's like, yeah, get on base, but you got to move them over somehow.
Yeah. You have to have productive outs. You
Yeah.
gotta sacrifice. You gotta have ground balls behind runners. You've gotta, sack fly. You can't strike out. You can't strike out all the time because the runners aren't moving up if you're striking out all the time.
Yeah. I remember that was a
Very
big
difficult.
thing. Yeah, that was a big thing back when I was playing at Steel. It was like you'd go up to the plate and you would think, and guys would just not even think about what to do when you're up there. Like, yeah, everyone wants to hit a home run, but at the same time, a ground ball to the second baseman with a guy on second is gonna get the guy to third. It's like you're gonna put him in a better position for a guy to hit a pop up, and you're scoring runs, and you're winning more games. What like you got any? Stats
Um,
on our boys.
I really think that we're just wild. Like we haven't been efficient in our games. With the starters are struggling a lot. I mean, just in general, pretty much the entire pitching staff is having a rough go of it. The
Hmm.
one thing that I noticed the most that I mentioned before was so strikeout to walk ratio is, in the pros, like you want like a 2 1/3 more strikeouts than you have walks, pretty much.
Hmm.
In college, you're pretty much wanting just 2 strikeouts for every walk that you give up. Ours is with the hit by pitches. Our strikeout to walk ratio is 1.09. So
Mm.
basically, pretty much every single time that we get a strikeout, we also walk somebody. So we're putting people on base a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, and it's making it where there's just like high stress innings early on in so many of these games. I don't know if you've seen some of the games, especially in some of these tournaments. I know when we played St. Mary's, I saw it a lot. I watched some of the stream, and there was the first like 2 innings of almost every game. The bases were loaded at least once.
Oh yeah. UCSD. It was crazy.
That
I
game
think
was
we had.
long.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to that game, and I think you were at the basketball game. And the basketball game started an hour and a half after the baseball game started, and you got done half an hour before I did.
Yeah, the basketball game
Like,
ended against New Mexico, and then I watched on my phone the ninth inning
yeah,
of that game. That was crazy. And I mean, it makes sense. If you got so many guys getting on base, it's going to take forever. And what's
right.
ironic is that was one of the games we won.
Yeah,
That's, if anything, that's the thing to hang our hat on so far this season. Baseball has beaten UCSD and USD.
yeah.
So I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, as far as the pitching goes, I really do think that we're falling behind in counts. And then for some of our pitchers too, they are wild but in the zone. And so they're getting
Well,
given up big hits.
and that's the thing. When you start behind, the only thing you can do is put something in the zone. If you go into a 2-0 count, you're praying that the ball gets in the strike zone, and so if he ends up in the middle, like it's a strike, but the guy's gonna hit it a country mile. Extra
Yeah.
base hits that we're giving up are crazy. We're what I think it's 185 extra base hits,
So it's
or
185 total hits.
sorry,
Total
total
hits.
hits. Extra base hits would be insane. Sorry.
That'd be nuts.
Yes. 185 total hits, 90 or 59 extra base hits.
Yeah. So pretty
So
much a
like
third of the time it's a double or better. Pretty much.
that's crazy.
And most of the time there's runners on. They're
Yeah.
not happening with nobody on base. It's
Well, you walk a guy and then they hit a
I think
double.
everybody needs to just stop stressing a little bit. I think they need to,
Yeah.
to get a little bit more loosey goosey because I think
Yeah.
the strikeouts at the plate for the hitters, they're pressing. You have a couple of
You
at bats where you've stranded guys on base. Now you're up there and you're swinging at stuff. I know that with the games we've been to, we've seen them stare at the strikes and swing at stuff
yeah.
that's nowhere close. So, and
You,
it's
you
just so mental. You got to relax as much as you can.
you know why they are not loosey goosey? They canceled the Halloween game.
Oh, the Halloween home run derby thing that they do, or the game.
where
I
where
love that thing.
they're all in their
In
Halloween
costumes.
outfits. Yeah, they canceled it last year,
I
or yeah, last
remember.
year.
That was a bummer. Those
But
things are always so fun.
right, I remember seeing all those clips of like pirates running around, like Captain Jack Sparrow pirates running the bases and stuff like
No,
that.
my favorite was when there was a group of guys that were it was like cool runnings. They were the bobsled team.
Yes,
So
the
they
Macon
they had one
bobsled
guy
team.
hit and then they all ran the bases with a bobsled that way they made out of cardboard.
Right,
It was great.
that's awesome.
There was
But
also I think there
they're
was a time where the guy was dressed like the pigtail girl from Oktoberfest and he hit a home
yeah,
run. That was cool.
yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, I really think that they just need to kind of act like this is the beginning of the season. Like, kind of flush it before we start conference play and just kind of, I don't know,
Yeah, well,
goldfish
and
brain, kind of forget
yeah,
about it and just kind of do as much as you can. Because from what I'm looking at, even like statistically and being at the games, it's kind of a domino effect. Like,
oh yeah,
fall behind early because pitching is struggling. So that we're stressing at the plate. not coming through, and it's even affected the fielding. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
947 fielding percentage for the team, 29 unearned runs out of the 144 we've given up. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah, and
it's just
you're
rough.
looking the average fielding percentage. You're trying to get around like 9.8, like 9.9. So 9.94 is not horrible, but you're expecting your defense to back you up, especially as a pitcher who's already struggling with control.
Yeah. And I mean, you're a catcher, so I mean, you can probably attest to the stress that everybody feels when the rotation is struggling, and someone
Yeah,
steals on you, and you're just trying, you're winging it because you're just
yeah.
trying to get them out. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, and they're the captain. They see everything out on
yeah,
the field. They're trying to be there and communicate where the ball needs to go and what they need to do. So
yeah. I think it's a good time for us to move into Sean Cole, huh?
yeah, well, I mean, the guy that's gonna be at the forefront of making these changes that so we can turn it around is going to be Sean Cole, and he has the history to get us there. I mean,
Yeah, his
2012 pitching
resume
coach of
is
the year.
solid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like what who else to turn the pitching around than the guy
yeah.
who was our pitching director before he became our head coach.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, yeah, like you said, pitching coach of the year. I mean, how doesn't get much better than that? And then you win the College World Series that same year with
yeah,
Arizona in 2012. I mean, it's a pretty big accolade.
right.
And I mean, he
Uh,
even he was the director of what U.S. baseball too for the 18U team. Won a couple gold
yeah,
medals for the 2 years he was
two
there.
yeah, two gold medals in 2014 and 2015. And then went on to be a coordinator for the Padres.
Yeah, the developmental, which it's like, I mean, if you know anything about Major League Baseball, the Padres maybe Major League team has not had the success that we were hoping for, but I mean, the minors is always one of the highest ranked like
Yeah,
farm systems in the league.
I want to say around that time too, they were the top
Yeah,
like farm
honestly,
system.
it could have been. So I mean, he knows how to, see who's good and build on those skills. And the first 2 years that he was, I mean, here as a pitching coach in 2022 and 2023, the Aztecs led the Mountain West in ERA, strikeouts, and opponent batting average. So I mean, he's had the success. So
Yeah,
it's not like we don't have somebody that knows pitching and what to do. So if there's anybody that I feel like can kind of rally these guys and help develop them and teach them and correct some of these flaws, I mean,
yeah.
it's got to be him.
And a lot of these guys that are struggling are great pitchers. Like so, they'll get by it. They'll turn the corner, and we'll be seeing a lot closer games that we can get that late inning hit, and it turns it from a 1-2 game to a 3-2 game. We'll get there.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no like spring training really in college baseball. They might play a
Yeah, when
couple
they had
games
like
here and
four
there.
games. Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, you can practice all day, but until you really get going, they're probably still just trying to break the rust off to get going.
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to go from practice to 100% every day for these games. It's a lot. But
So you wanna talk players?
yeah, sure.
Some
You wanna
bright
you wanna
spots?
wanna start with pitching or hitters?
Well, before we get into that, I do want to make a slight correction to our last podcast. I think we had said Steven Strasburg
Oh,
went.
that was me.
Uh,
I
yeah,
got excited. I said Steven Strasburg went to Scripps Ranch. He went to West Hills. That is
West Hills
my
High
bad.
School. Still
Also,
San Diego
it's ironic that I'm
County.
wearing all my green stuff because as a Patrick Henry Patriot, I just didn't like either team, so it really didn't matter to me where he
What,
went
you didn't
until he
love
went to
that
the
blue field?
Aztecs.
You didn't love
No,
playing football on that blue field?
the Smurf turf out of West Hills that
I've
the
never.
birds
Oh,
dive
well,
bomb
that's
because they
great.
think it's water. It's not
Yeah.
good. It's not good. But
One of my
anyway, I
coaches actually
apologize.
went there.
That I will say we are gonna make mistakes, but we will own up to them. I promise.
Put it in the comments. No.
It makes me think of Major League where when Wild Thing drills somebody He's trying to fight him, and the catcher stops him, and he's like, "Accidents will happen. Thank you. You're being really, really grown up for just taking it like a man. Good job." But
now
all
that
right,
we got that out of the way,
cleared up my mistake.
yeah. I thought now would be a good time, right before we get into some of the bright spots on the diamond. Some guys that are achieving, showing that this team can turn it around. Let's get started with pitchers. Somebody that
Your boy.
Peyton Rogers. For those who watched the first podcast, I was hyping this guy up. He is out there in more games than most, I think, with a 2.65 ERA. He's leading the team, especially as a relief pitcher. That's awesome. He's got 15 strikeouts, a couple saves under his belt. When I saw him pitch in person at the UCSD game, he got brought in with two runners on, might have been bases loaded. It's been a while. But he clutched up, giving up a sac fly, but then strikeout. Like, and then he had to pitch 2 2/3 innings to get the save in a game that we thought we had in hand in like the fourth inning, and they came back. So the dude has the clutch gene in him. He's one of the bright spots in the pitching rotation.
Yeah, I mean, if you have somebody that can succeed in high leverage situations like that, it's exactly what you want,
Right.
Let's see. I want to see how many innings he's pitched because I was curious. Yeah, 17 innings. I mean, he's up there. He's been
Especially
honestly,
as a
it's
relief
funny.
pitcher.
He's a relief pitcher and he's thrown more innings than some of our starters. So he's doing real good. 1.12 WHIP. So not letting that many guys on base. 15 strikeouts to 5 walks. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to strikeout to walk ratio. That's what you need. But I mean, that just means he's your late inning. I mean, he's your man. If you need to get some people out, he's your boy.
Yeah, and
he's doing good, man. I hats off to you because you called him out. You called him out in the very beginning, and I was like, okay, if you say so, then you're not wrong.
Just keep an eye out for him. He's killing.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he gets some more save opportunities. We've won 4 games. He's got 2 saves. Pretty solid.
Right. You got another pitcher that we should talk about?
Indeed, I do. So Marco Sapilla, he has the most innings pitched on our team with 20.2. So 20 and 2/3. So like that kind of puts into perspective. He's a starter, and he has the most innings out of everybody. And Peyton Rogers is a reliever, and he's still thrown 17. That's pretty. Shouldn't be that close if you can help it. But I mean, in that being said, Marco has been able to eat innings for us as a starter because some of our other starters haven't been able to go that deep. So you've just been seeing a lot of the guys, a lot of our other relievers having to pitch. So if you got a guy that can stay in there a little bit longer, that's going to help you like down the road. You're not going to tax your bullpen, and you're not going to have everybody be so exhausted.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got the best ERA out of the starters as well. So 4.36 ERA. I mean, he's been the best starter, hands down. Easy to say.
Yeah, easy. But let's talk about the offensive side of the ball real quick.
All right.
Zane Kelly, that first game we went to, insane grab. I don't know how this boy got to this ball, but foul ball down the right field line, full extension. I'm sure we can find a clip of it somewhere. But like, this dude was electric and has been this entire year. He had a slight hiccup with an injury to the hand, but he has the best batting average on the team with a 3.46. He's a sophomore. He's getting the ball down in clutch situations. I think that game that we were at, he went 4 for 5 with like a triple, double, 2 singles. I was expecting the walk-off home run.
We were rooting for it.
The walk-off home run for the cycle would have been sick.
Yeah, talk about a way to start a season. That would have been amazing.
Right.
But That catch, it's so funny because that we were there, that catch, and that hitch happened, and then literally all over social media, like the Mountain West posted it, college baseball posted it, like it was everywhere,
Yeah.
like so fast. I still haven't seen it as good of a play as that this whole
No.
the rest of the
No.
season.
Nowhere else.
But yeah, I mean, as a sophomore too, man, he's stepping up. He's been solid, and I honestly we were kind of worried. We were there because when he got hit in the hand too, we were at
Hmm.
that game, and
Yeah.
he stayed in that game, but then he missed a few after. We weren't sure. There were rumors that he might have broke his hand, and luckily he's back, and I think it might have put a little hitch in his giddy up, so he slowed down a little bit, but he's picking it back up. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
I think out of
as is
everybody,
expected. Yeah.
definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Yeah, it's hard to swing a bat when one of your hands is swollen and hurts and you can't grip it. Yeah,
Just ask Bryce Harper.
yeah, oh yeah. And then next we got C.J. Moran, freshman, who's been a workhorse in the field. He started every single game. He's played outfield first, and he's DH'd. 344 batting average. So I mean, right behind Zane.
Hmm.
Pretty solid. I
I
mean,
think they're like 1 and 2 on a lot of stats.
yep.
Uh, let's take a look. I got pardon my look to the left, but
I
we
know he's
got
got 7 doubles. So I
most
mean, he's
doubles on
hitting
the
extra base
team,
hits.
most RBIs on the team, uh, best on base percentage on the team. Like he's killing it.
Yeah, 13 RBI, 7 doubles. And to put into perspective too, I mean, our team extra base hits wise. So our opponents get an extra base hit, like we said earlier, about a third of the time. We get one about a quarter of the time. But we
Yeah,
also total only have 158 total hits compared to 185. So
yeah.
kind of.
When our best slugging percentage on the team is backtrack Zane Kelly, and it's point .5. It's showing that a lot of it is mostly doubles, and a couple triples. And the season's early. Like we got a lot of games left to play. So these numbers will definitely go up as the guys get more comfortable on the field. We'll be seeing some better baseball as the year progresses.
Yeah, I think Sean Cole's going to get some of this straightened out. I know I've seen online some people be pretty rough and harsh on him, but young teams, man. He had a young team last year, young team this year. You don't have a ton of seniors. A lot of, you're still kind of everybody's figuring out their role and where they are. And so it's nice to see some guys step up, and I think it's just I think there's only one way to go, and it's up. Everybody's
Hmm.
gonna get more comfortable, get some more experience, and I think things are looking positive in the future. Obviously, this year maybe might not be amazing, but I think you'll see improvement throughout the year.
Hmm. Well, and I think in these kind of seasons, at least what it's looking like, a lot of the times you got to look at individual accomplishments and see guys who were freshmen last year coming in to be an upperclassman compared to these new guys coming in, or when you come from a junior college feeling like you need to show up because you're older, but there's a definite change between those two levels from junior college to D1. So we'll see as this year progresses. These guys will get better. We'll see a lot of change, but it'll be all for the best.
I think just learning to play together too is another thing. Like, I mean, have you
Yeah.
ever, throughout your years of playing baseball, ever been on a team where like you're just bad, like not working
Oh,
out,
just ask my
like
roommate.
not just like as like a grouping, and so it's like,
Yeah.
and how do you get through that? Like, what did you do to make it through that season?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say rough times at Steel Canyon our freshman year was hard.
I
Yeah.
think because I know I've been there, and the only thing that you gotta have fun. You gotta try. You gotta try to get the camaraderie with your guys and enjoy, like, make friends,
Yeah.
have fun, just
Yeah,
enjoy the little things.
some of the best teams I've been on were teams that it was just guys who played together for years. It's that freedom and flexibility when you're in the field that you're like, I know that guy's going to be there. I mean, it's the same thing with football. Knowing that wide receiver is going to be down there somewhere, I'm just going
Yep.
to have fun and let it loose, and then you get these breakout plays. It's the
Yeah.
same thing in baseball.
And I really do think that a lot of these guys, they're all probably still trying to really get to know each other and figure it out. And once the camaraderie level, baseball's so weird, and I mean, so is softball to the same extent. It's the most individualized team sport that you'll ever play.
Hmm.
But chemistry is a huge part of it, which it's so hard to explain that to somebody that hasn't played. But if you aren't vibing with the people you're playing with, it affects everything. That's why,
I will
like, if
say,
you watch Major League Baseball, some of the teams that do so well, they're not the best players. They're just having, they just get together, get along, they vibe. The 2004 Red Sox were just a bunch of idiots, right? That was the whole thing.
right?
Like, and so, I mean, I think that's something that they should try to aspire to be. But it's easier said than done. I get it. I mean, you're in college, you're trying to get a scholarship, you're trying to be successful. It's stressful, but
Yeah.
you gotta enjoy the little things along the way.
One of the best things I've seen when it comes to camaraderie, these Finley Bates post-game interviews. I don't know if you've seen any of them. They
Are
are
those the ones with the tiny
hilarious.
microphone?
Yeah, the tiny mic. Uh, but there was one where I think it was Jake Jackson hit a home run, and they were like, "Oh, Finley was going up to the boys, being like, how far do you think that home run went? How far do you think that home run went?" And some of the guys were like, "Oh man, it was a wall scraper. He needs to hit the gym." Uh, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, well, how far do you think it went, Finley?" And he was just like, "I don't know, man. I was running the bases."
Yeah,
I
he's
was
like,
just like,
I'm running
I
the
ain't
bases.
watching
I
where
don't
it
know.
goes.
I didn't know it was a home run until I was rounding second.
Exactly.
No, I love that. See, and that's good. That's a good sign.
Hmm.
You can't get too high with the highs, too low with the lows.
Right. I
Otherwise,
mean,
this sport will eat you alive.
and so how to catch the boys next time? They are on the road coming up this following weekend of the 21st through the 23rd of March, and then they'll be back in town, uh, going up against UC Riverside on the 25th, and finishing out the weekend they'll be going up against UNLV at Tony Gwynn Stadium from the 28th through the 30th. Keep in mind, two of those games are fan giveaways. If you can show up early enough, there's a koozie on the 28th and a beach towel on the 29th.
Ooh, I might have to go to that one. That sounds pretty solid. All right, let's jump right into Aztec softball, shall we? A little bit of a roller coaster of a season so far, we'll say. Ups and downs, highs and lows. 15-9 record up to this point, solid. We were ranked at a point during the season, got ranked 25th, got as high as 23rd. So first and foremost, opened the season playing Oklahoma, who, if I'm not mistaken, has won the World Series the last 2 seasons in a row, 4 seasons in a row. Oh man, that's
They're very
a
good.
lot. Yeah,
They're
they were
very
ranked.
good.
They were ranked number 2 when we played them, and
Yeah.
honestly, that game was pretty nuts. It was a sellout, which is awesome. It's great that they're getting support out there, but it went 9 innings, which, if you don't know, they only are supposed to play 7. So it was a really, really long, grueling game, and it was the second game of a doubleheader. So that one was tough. We lost to them, but it was a great game, back and forth the whole way. Following that, we went on the road to an invitational that happened in Clearwater, Florida. Notable games there. We played Alabama, who was number 14, beat them 4-1. Played Missouri, who was number 16, beat them 5-2. And that weekend, we played 5 games in total across Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we won all 5.
And
And
that's
then,
when we got our first ranking after that
yep,
weekend.
yep.
Like, the girls were killing it out there.
And then we headed to
Judy Garman Classic was
Judy
in
Garman was
Fullerton.
in Fullerton. It might have been
No, this
Riverside or
one
Cathedral
was
City.
no, this one was at the Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I think it's in technically Cathedral City, but yeah, the Field of
Yes,
Dreams.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. We looked pretty good out there too. We went 4-1. Brought our ranking down to 23, which is, now that I'm thinking about it, seems weird that it goes down, but we're doing better.
Number
But
1 is the best, bud.
yeah, But the weekend came at the end with a unfortunate 7-2 loss against number 19 Oregon, and that kind of spilled over into the next week. We went into Fullerton Judy Garmin Classic. Was a rough one. Five straight losses, most of which were close games. 3 of the 5 were one-run games, one of which was a 1-0 loss to Utah.
That Weber State 7-6 loss was also an extra inning game to like start
Yes,
that
yes.
entire thing.
And these invitationals are hard, man. They're playing 2 games a day for 5 in 3 days.
Yeah.
I know the pitching arms are a little bit more usable in softball compared to baseball just because of the motion, but it's still like you're putting in a lot of work through 14 inning or 2 7-inning games, 14 innings total.
Yeah, well, and I mean, then you have some extra inning games in there too, so it really kind of throws you for a loop.
Yeah, right. We got to play in an hour. It's like, oh yeah, we just played 2 extra innings. Yeah, that hour is now 15 minutes.
Yeah, really. Honestly, I'm still always impressed with how many innings that these pitchers can throw. Because I mean, what's interesting too about softball is the fact that you can have a pitcher start the game, come out, go back in. You know, unlike baseball where you burn them and you're done.
Yeah, I've seen Didi do that a couple times this year already.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, honestly, to be able to do that physically is impressive, and you know, for you to be able to get warm, pitch, come out. I mean, Gracie Uribe plays in the field sometimes, and then still goes back and it pitches too. So it's pretty impressive. And we've only had what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers pitch this season. So it's over 162 total innings of of play. That's
split amongst 5.
That's
and
pretty
some
crazy.
of which some of which were less
2/3 of an inning. 2/3 of an inning. That's for one of them.
Other notable thing that happened that weekend was we went up against number 12th ranked Arizona, and that was our worst loss of the weekend. An 11-3 loss. Rough to see out there.
That one was definitely rough. I think the two, that game and the Oklahoma game, are the 2 games that we've given up the most runs. In both games, we gave up 11 runs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 11 through 9 is pretty crazy. Well, and the fact that it was, 6-6 going into the 9th, and then against Oklahoma, and then we gave up a grand slam, and that was the stake in the heart.
Nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
It was a lot. Stake in the heart, nail in the coffin. They're all the same. After that rough weekend, though, we went back home. Try to get back on track, and we found some success. Played Loyola Marymount. We were supposed to play them twice, I believe, but they canceled one of them because of rain.
Well, the ground was wet. The ground was wet.
Yeah. I think the prospect of rain.
Yeah, the rain from the day before made the ground wet.
We don't like when it's wet around Diego. Everything goes to hell.
Nobody knows how to drive.
Oh, don't even get me started with that. But yeah, so we played Loyola Marymount, won 6-2. Played Sacramento State, won 5-2. And then the big game of the weekend was UCLA. It was number 6. And that was also kind of a rough one. 5-0 loss. Got no hit. Yeah. But I will also say, bright spot, set an attendance record for that sellout for a UCLA. I mean, it's gotta love that. Gotta love that there's people coming out when, and supporting in the big games.
Yeah. I mean, especially with those extra seats that they have out in the outfield. If you haven't gone to a game, those seats are awesome. We sat there for the Loyola game, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you sit for Padres games usually too, right?
Yeah, depending on the game, but yeah. I love to sit in the porch out there by the right field pole.
Mm-hmm. The Jack in the Box?
Exactly.
What, Jack in the Box?
Our Lord and Savior Jack in the Box head? Yeah, exactly. I still hope that if somebody ever hits a ball off that thing, we all get tacos.
I got 2 free tacos.
It's just gonna instead of confetti cannons, it's gonna be Taco Bell tacos.
They've been in there for a while because no one's hit it, but
it's fine. They're not real meat anyway, right?
That's not what my
No,
dog
but
says.
sorry, we're getting crazy. But
Spitballing,
UCLA,
spitballing.
I mean that game once again though, it's like the pitching. The pitching's great. Like
Yeah.
the games that we've lost against these ranked opponents. I mean, we can break it down a little bit. We can start with UCLA if you want, since
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
most
sure.
recent one.
Well, the opposing team's pitching is what's making these games against these ranked teams difficult.
So that,
I
but I'm also just giving credit to our pitching. The
oh
fact
well,
that
yes.
most of these games against these very high ranked teams, they're close. Like,
Oh yeah,
and when they're not, a couple of 11 run games. Yeah, okay. Our
yeah.
team ERA for pitching is amazing. Like, it's
Oh
just
yeah,
phenomenal. Like, kind of take the stats that we gave you for baseball and kind of flip them because
yeah.
softball is the complete
Actually,
opposite. I was just saying, like, most of the other games that we played against the ranked teams, they were close, and even against Oklahoma, yeah, like you said, we lost. We gave up 11 runs, but for the most part, it was close. It was 6-6 in the ninth, one inning, and
yeah.
it's. Let's just start with
Well,
Oklahoma teams.
so we'll start with pitching.
Okay.
Our defensive side of things is really good. Some of our pitchers, Grace Uribe, Didi, CC. Do we have the
Strikes to walk, or yeah, strikeouts to walk ratio. I mean, the
yeah
first thing I want to say is a 3.07 team ERA. That's phenomenal. So strikeout to walk ratio is 98 strikeouts to 48 walks. So basically 2-1.
yep,
Can't
which
can't be
is
mad about that.
what we said before. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly what you're shooting for. Anything more than that is icing on the cake. Like, and yeah, ERA, like I said, 3.07. WHIP is 1.3. I mean, we're not giving up a ton of free bags. Like, and that's what's probably kept us in a lot of these games. And that's one of the trends that I did notice is in the ones where it gets away from us a little bit. Those are the games that we do
The free
walk some
bases.
people and hit some people and have unearned runs from errors. And
Yeah.
when it gets a little sloppy, that's when things kind of tend to go a little south. Like Oklahoma, 6 strikeouts for our pitchers, but we walked 8 and hit 3.
Yeah.
So we gave them 11 free base runners. And we watched that game. I know for a fact that Didi had to come back in and pitch, and I think she got a little tired because she started kind of walking people. And
hmm
it's fair. It's the very first day of your season. You already played a game and pitched in it. Like,
Yeah.
can't be mad about that.
Well, and with an
It's
off-speed
gonna
pitcher,
happen,
yeah, with an
right?
off-speed pitcher, it's definitely something that's like you have to be on constantly, and if you're having to pitch 2, 3 times a day, whether you're in a game and come out or you're pitching a second game, it's you're a ball is gonna float. Something's
Yeah,
gonna end up in the middle, and all it was one hit. It was
yeah.
one
Honestly,
hit that scored 4 runs, and that puts you in that position.
well, if I remember right, it was. I mean, you start with the runner on second,
hmm
the international tiebreaker, and I'm pretty sure there were 2 walks, and then the grand slam. That's so it puts
Yeah.
you in a spot, but it's tough. I mean, the Arizona game, other game that we gave up 11 runs. Our pitchers
hmm
got 2 strikeouts, walked 6, hit 2, 8 free base runners. I mean, and everybody's gonna have a bad day. Nobody's gonna be perfect. You can't. I mean, it's amazing to me that those are the only 2 games really that has happened.
Yeah.
And like the statistics of the ERA and the WHIP and strikeouts to walk ratio proves that. It's just against the higher caliber teams, you don't get away with that.
Yeah. That's something
Sorry.
that's interesting real quick about the UCLA game. We only had 2 walks that entire
Yeah.
game. We were right in it. Their pitcher was just pitching his
Yeah.
gem. It
Just shut us
happens.
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, four strikeouts for the pitchers, 2 walks, didn't hit anybody. So yeah, it wasn't like I said, the pitching was great. Pitching's been
yeah.
great. It's
And
the
it wasn't like it was a blowout. It just was we weren't hitting that day.
yeah.
And
And
that
that's the
happens.
other trend. That's the other trend that I've noticed against some of these ranked teams. So UCLA, we as on our offense got 1 walk, struck out 9 times. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously when you get no hit, there's going to maybe be 1 in a million chance that you get no hit and you still win the game. We've seen it happen before in the MLB, so I'm sure it can happen.
One time.
But
Reds
and then
Pirates, look it up.
who was it? Hunter Green, right?
Yeah. Hunter
Yeah.
Green, combined no hitter and lost to the Pirates.
Yep. Oklahoma game was the same thing on offense. 1 walk, 16 strikeouts.
Yeah.
But we got 9 hits in that one. So it's kind of back to what I was saying with baseball too. Like, you need productive outs. When you strike out a lot, they're just not productive outs. It's going to kill you. Put the
Well,
ball in play,
especially
good things happen.
especially in softball, those bases are short that anything can happen. You
Yeah.
bobble the ball slightly, and you're getting to first base.
And most of our team is fast. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
you get a chopper to short deep in the hole, you're there. Like, you got that. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
the other ranked games. So we beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And that one offensively, 7 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Pitching wise, we struck out 6, walked nobody, hit 1 person. So I mean, if you notice the trend here, it's simple, but that's usually how it goes. It's very duh.
It's okay to
But
talk like John Madden. It's fine. Like, you can be.
if you get people on base and you score more runs than the other team, you're going to win.
If you don't let the other team get on base, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Missouri was the same thing. Offensively, we had 10 hits, 1 walk, only struck out 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was the one anomaly for pitching, honestly, that we won, and we only had 2 strikeouts, but we walked 5 people.
Yeah.
So we got away with the mistakes of people getting on base. Oregon was a loss. Offensively, 6 hits, 2 walks. We struck out 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching was great in that one too, though. 4 strikeouts, only 3 walks, no hit batsman.
And then Arizona.
Yep.
Like,
if you want to take that one.
Yeah, you only hit 3 times, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. So again, and then on the pitching side of things, we only struck them out twice, and we give up 6 walks and 2 hit by pitch. The trend is there that you're not gonna get the opportunities when you're not putting the ball in play.
Yep. Strikeouts and unproductive outs. It's the simplest thing, but you'll hear it everywhere. I've looked at pretty much every box score throughout the season, and there's been maybe 1 game that we won where we had more strikeouts than we had hits. So,
Yeah.
like, offensively. So it's very interesting to just to look at it.
So we want to talk about who is putting the ball in play?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about those hitters.
No bunting.
So, quick shout out to Lala Marcario. We are unaware of right now of her injury status, but prior to a stumble in the Weber State game, she was our best hitter, probably still will be if she comes back, with a .465 batting average. She was either in the 2 spot or the 5 spot in the lineup, and she was putting the ball in play. She was moving people. She was getting on base. It was a positive effect for the team because it was putting pressure on these pitchers that, like, having our first 4 of having Bella Espinoza, then Lala Marcario, and then our power hitters is insane when they're just hits on hits on hits on hits. We are hoping she's back on the field soon. I haven't been able to find any updates on her injury status, but we're thinking about.
I've looked. I haven't been able to figure anything out either. Yeah, definitely prayers up for her. Hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully she can get back out there.
Yeah,
I will say, so it was Cal Baptist was actually the game she got hurt in. So
yes,
that was something. It's all good. That was something that I noticed because I was looking at everything, and she got hurt. We won that game, and then we had that skid
6-game losing streak
where we went that next weekend and we lost all 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do think that a lot of it had to do with her not being there for multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, highest batting average on the team. It's interesting because she had 20 hits. They were all singles. But it's you get on base, you pressure the pitcher, and she had 20 hits, had 10 runs scored. So half the time that she got a hit, she ended up scoring a run, which is phenomenal. Can't ask for a better percentage than that, really.
Right.
She set the table for everybody, whether she was in the top of the order for the main power hitters or if she was basically second leadoff a little bit further down. That speed, it it gets you. But her being hurt also kind of forced the coach to try to move people around because you had to cover second base now. So
Yeah.
I've been watching it. Jasmine Williams is our main center fielder. She was having to play second a lot. Julie Holcomb was having to move over to center. Katie Farron has now more recently been playing second, so Jasmine can stay in center. It's just they're kind of trying to tweak it a little bit.
Mhm.
It's also made it where Gracie Rebase had to play in the field a little bit more
Yeah.
instead of just being either the designated player or pitching. So
Yeah.
it seems like they're still kind of trying to fine tune exactly how they want the lineup to go. But that weekend that was the first weekend without her. And I
Yeah.
think that it kind of threw everybody for a loop.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, if you've ever played and you play in a position that's not your main position, sometimes the stress of the field will also kind of affect your hitting.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's a mental game, man. What's the Yogi Berra quote? Baseball
gosh.
is what, 70% physical and the other half's mental?
Yeah, something like that. That sounds like a Yogi Berra quote.
Berraism.
But yeah, hope she's back. Hope it's not too bad. I mean, we'll let you guys know if we get an update, but we have not been able to find anything even regarding her really getting hurt other than when it happened. And it said she had to jump over a ball and tweaked her lower leg, not even like specific about what happened.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're rooting for you. Hope you're okay.
Can't wait to see you back out there.
Exactly. So Callie Decker, man, number 11. Whoop whoop. Let's go. My favorite number, and she's a catcher. There you go.
And
exactly.
the catcher. Represent
Talk
the
about
catchers
on
out there.
fire. Talk about on fire at the plate,
Right.
man. Oof. 17 RBIs, first on the team. 46 total bases, first on the team. 639 slugging percentage, first on the team. If you're not noticing a trend here, only person on the team with a higher on base percentage than Lala is Callie Decker, and it's only 1 point higher, 512 instead of 511.
And she's come up in clutch situations. She's the person that's moving the runners forward, which is something that we don't really see in baseball, but on the softball field, she is killing it.
I wish we had a stat for her with runners in scoring position because I'm sure it's high.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
We went to that game and you guys left, and then she hit that wall scraper, like just inside the center field wall. We were like, God dang.
That was so funny because we literally were walking the bleachers to the right field pole, and I stopped right at the pole, and I was like, wait, I want to see her hit. She hit it to right where we were standing. Almost got out, and I was like, of course, as soon as we walk away. No, it was awesome, though. It was a missile. But yeah, dude, she started every game. She's caught, and she's played first. Like, I mean, she's been
her
a workhorse.
Defensive stats have also been crazy. She's only given up 1 stolen base.
Yep.
Thrown out 5, only 6 steal attempts, but nobody wants to steal on her because they're gonna get thrown out.
Yeah.
And having that clutch factor behind the plate is one of those reasons that the pitching is important, don't get me wrong, but being able to keep these runners staying where they're at and not getting those free bases is pretty clutch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a pitcher, like having somebody back there that you can trust is huge. Like she deserves all the credit for the success of, a big part of the credit for the success of the pitchers because it gives you that I can throw anything anywhere. She's at 1 pass ball in the whole season. You're not worried about the ball in the dirt getting by her missing it, the runners running on her. Like I think that's something that constantly gets overlooked for a catcher is you're part of that battery, and that's a big deal. I mean,
Yeah, yes, I do. So now let's move on to the pitchers. The key standout player that I want to bring up is Cece Salora. She's leading the team in innings and in whip, so she's not letting people get on base. She also has the least amount of walks on the team with only 3, and she has the second most amount of strikeouts with 33. One thing that we really want from a pitcher. Strike people out, don't let them get on base, and pitch deep into games. I don't know what else to say about her. She's just kind of being that one thing that we need on the team right now.
An 11-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio is absurd. That's amazing.
Wait, I thought only 2 was good.
Yeah, 11's unheard of. That's bonkers. It's like, wow. I mean, that means she's in the zone. That's all you can really ask for.
We're
3.09
only buying
ERA
them,
too, so
Yeah.
she's killing it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's funny because we started this being like, we like baseball. Now we're like, softball, 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 softball.
Don't get me wrong, I still love baseball. But
Still love baseball.
softball.
Softball, killing it.
Kill
Baseball,
it and kill it and kill it.
baseball's there. It's struggling a little bit. So yeah, but
Hey.
no, dude, CC Solora, she's just been on fire. I mean, best pitcher in the last couple weeks. She's been great, and me personally too. Like when she's had a rough time, it's because she gets hit hard. But it's like I'd rather that be the case than you're just not in the zone and you're giving up free bases and all that.
Free bases are different than a team just having good hitters.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the thing is if you're going up against a team with good hitters and you walk people, then those free bases are going to turn into runs. But if you're not letting them get on base and then they get a monster hit that turns out to be a double, and you then strike out a person or they ground into a double play, it's not a run. So that's kind of the thing that you're looking for is get the out. One, trust your defense. Don't try and nitpick the corners and then lose a batter to a walk. It's okay to throw a low fastball and they just make contact because you got 7 people behind you. And I think that's one of the things that she's doing also is she's letting the team play behind her.
Definitely agree.
So you want to talk about the
I was like,
Ohtani of our team?
The show. I like that. I didn't even think about that, but very true. Yeah, Gracie Uribe, man, she's been a workhorse too. I mean, she's started every single game, whether it's been pitching or in the outfield, or she's even been the designated player where she's hitting for somebody else. So I mean, she's been doing it all. Pitching wise, ERA of 2.98, phenomenal. 34 strikeouts to 17 walks. So still that ratio is solid. You can't really ask for more out of somebody. She's had to step up too with Lala being hurt because she's been in the outfield a lot more. Like you said, Shohei Ohtani of the team.
Yeah, she's the leader in strikeouts. Honestly,
is she? Like, 30, yeah. With one more.
With one more. Not for long, but well, maybe for long if she keeps it up.
I mean, hey, I'll take that all day if they just go back and forth and back and forth. That's phenomenal. I mean, I'd rather have 2 of them just on fire.
Her hitting has also been insane, and it's not bombs and triples and all that. But what did we say at the beginning of this?
She gets on base.
Yeah,
gets on base.
She is the leader of the team in walks, so she's being a presence on the base path. And that's something that's going to lead to more runs.
17 walks.
This isn't a Moneyball podcast, but give it a couple episodes. We might.
I'm like, she's got 17 walks. She gets on base. And she has homered twice. So, I mean, she's got some pop.
So she is. I mean, I say that, and then I'm like, wait, no, she's actually... She has the same amount as Callie Decker, which is also second on the team. Behind Shannon Cunningham?
Shannon Cunningham has the most.
Yeah.
Most home runs, right?
With 3. Again.
With 3, yep.
1 up.
Shout out Shannon Cunningham's walk-off grand slam in that one game. That was
my God. So mad there's no video of it.
I know. Of course, the one game that had no stream. That was funny because we were just watching the Gamecast thing.
Yeah. Waiting for NASCAR to start, and we're watching the Gamecast. Coming around the bend, the girls are going on a road trip, but they will be back. They will be back in San Diego on March 19th to play San Diego. USD will be at the softball stadium taking on our Aztecs, and then to finish out the weekend, they'll be going up against New Mexico. Our second game in divisional play or conference play. So we'll look to get started this weekend, whenever this comes out, against Utah, and then they'll be back March 19th, the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd.
Yep. Utah State. From today, Utah State is this upcoming weekend. Podcast probably won't come out until after that, so we'll see. But hopefully it comes out before that USD game, because if we can get a bunch of people, it's Tuesday night, so it might be, or Wednesday night, actually, I think, the 19th. Might be hard to get a lot of people out there, but, I mean, that'd be fun. It's always fun when we can beat up the other San Diego teams. 6 o'clock start time, so hopefully we can get it jumping, it'll be a good time. And then all I have to say is, boo, New Mexico. Boo.
And
no parking.
Just for reference, the softball team is ranked 4th in the Mountain West right now. That's not saying much because there's been no conference play. But of all the teams, we are 4th behind Nevada, Boise State, and UNLV. So hopefully this weekend we take down Utah, get up there in the rankings, and come back to a full crowd at the softball stadium.
Yep. Can't wait. Anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully this comes out on St. Patrick's Day. I was hoping for that. So go Aztecs. I even found a St. Patrick's Day Aztec shirt somehow. I didn't know that was possible, but
They do exist.
I know. I was shocked when I saw it. But anyway, go Aztecs. Go stay.
See you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.